There you go. Hi, and welcome to Why Australia. This is Lisa Rossmeissl, owner of Boomerang Escapes and your certified Aussie specialist with Australia Tourism. So today, Why Australia is going to be about koalas. I know I've spoken on them on previous videos, but I'm going to go back. And go over them again. Not only are they my favorite animal out of Australia and my favorite animal overall, but they are one of the iconic animals. So we'll touch a little bit today on the koala itself, um, ways you can experience the koala, and also how it is such an integral part of Boomerang Escapes. So as you can see back there behind me, that's like part of that's my current collection. So even as a young girl, my bed was filled with stuffed koalas. I had little China koalas. I had even a koala latch hook rug. Yes, I just dated myself. Then I even have these cute clipping ones so the little things can clip on. I've got a couple different little keychain one, another little one with the Australian flag. And all of these have been gifts either from the trip or like this one here was actually from my daughters. So this one is actually filled with lavender inside and you heat him up and he helps you sleep at night. So I still have a collection and I've actually got this shirt was a t-shirt that I bought on my first visit in 2011. So not only do I have them usually set up high in my bedroom because the cats have a fashion or a fascination with them, so I keep them up out of the way. But above my desk here, you can't see it, and I won't be able to flip this around. I have a poster with a koala that looks at me every day, and the caption on the poster says, "Just imagine." And that poster is actually from Colette Tours, and Colette Tours happened to be the company that I used for the very first time that I booked two couples in the boomer category. Yes, they were boomers. So two couples, and that was the first time I planned a couple-week trip for those two couples using that tour. And then that was back in 2009, 2010. I did my studies to become an Australia travel expert with Australia Tourism, got my specialist certificate, and in 2011 made that first trip down. Obviously, even to go beyond that, you'll see that the koala is very important. It takes a prime role there in my logos, and that you will also see those two koalas are tattooed on my backside. So if you ever catch me in a backless dress or in my swimsuit if we're hanging out like that, you will see my koalas back there. So as I said, the koala has been a lifelong love, and I definitely integrated it into my passion here at Boomerang Escapes and for travel and to, planning vacation experiences for you to Australia. So one of the other things where it comes into play with the business itself, before we get into the characteristics of these cute little guys, is you can see this book here. This book was sent to me by the Australia Koala Foundation. So one of the things Boomerang Escapes has been doing since we opened, not this year unfortunately, I've had to conserve, but I adopt koalas. So every year since I opened, usually closer to Christmas time, I will adopt a new koala and I send monies down there and they send me a certificate. And I've been doing it so long that the woman that organizes it sent me this beautiful book. I don't know how you can't absolutely fall in love with these guys. Look at that one right there. So adorable. So like I said, not only is it part of the whole business and passion, I do believe in giving back, and part of my giving back is to the wildlife down under. So why are koalas so fascinating? Well, I think they're absolutely adorable. I love that big flat nose, right? They're cute. You would think cuddly, but they're actually not really that cuddly. The fur on them, I would say, is more like a sheep's fur, so it's coarser, it's harder. They, can be fragrant of eucalyptus because that's where they're sitting and hanging out. So they do have that. The males have in the center of their bodies a scent gland. They do have long, sharp claws. They do sleep something like 20 hours a day. And while they do love eucalyptus, they do not eat every variety. They're very picky eaters as well. Also, one of the things that you might not realize is that a koala can be identified by that nose. So like this picture we were just looking at, every koala has a different nose print, and their little hands too are printed very much like ours. So just very interesting facts. Actually, Echidna Walkabout Tours located in Victoria. There they have done so much research on the koalas. I will talk about them more in just a minute when we get into the ways they experience. But there's just, these fabulous little creatures. They, of course, they're an iconic symbol for Australia. Another interesting fact is that they will jump from tree to tree. They don't typically drink water unless it's like a drought time. They get most of their fluids, again, also from that eucalyptus. So one of the things to know is that if you do see a koala sitting down on the ground or wandering around down on the ground, that's not necessarily a good sign unless they're changing relocations. The males, quote, sing for the female's attention during mating season. The males also, just like any of the other males in the animal kingdom, will fight if it's over, particularly if it's mating season, or if somebody's come into their marked territory. They do use that scent gland to mark their territory. So those are just some interesting koala facts. I could share a bunch more, but I really want to talk about how you can go down to Australia and experience this animal. There's several different ways, 3 ways I actually talk about today. And if you're looking for more information or go into depth, I do have a blog written up about it. I've included that link in the description of the video today. So if you miss any of the details as I'm going through, or you want more details, or you want to be able to reach out to me and ask questions, just use that link. It will take you to my blog, and you can read more about these 3 experiences that I'm going to highlight today for getting up and close and personal with the koala. So first of all, there is the koala pat. What the koala pat is the koala will actually be set in a branch type setting. You can experience this normally in one of their zoo wildlife parks when you go. I know the zoo in Sydney has it. Also out in the Blue Mountains has it. There's some different places that you can do. I've done the koala pat. That was actually my first experience, and I have to tell you, it's very important to know what type of koala experience you have. I was, very disappointed and almost devastated when I discovered that trip that they were taking me on to Australia that first time was not going to go to one of the states where we could have a cuddle, which I'll talk about in just a second. So the pat, basically, the koala would be, propped up or in its tree, and you get to stand up next to it, and you're allowed to lay a hand on the koala and get your photo taken that way. So that's one. That's what I call the pat. The second one, the cuddle, which is definitely like somebody like myself. Again, it's not like you're running around cuddling this thing. It is supervised. The koalas are very well moderated and time limited to how much exposure they do get with the tourists and the people. Now with the koala cuddle, as I just mentioned, not everywhere in Australia would you be able to do this. So if you watched South Australia, if you were on our virtual vacation, or you caught my video on Why Australia couple weeks ago, South Australia is one of the states that does allow the koala cuddle, and also Queensland, so the northern part of Australia, also allows the koala cuddle. Depending on where you are will depend on whether you're going to be holding a baby koala or possibly an adult koala. Again, it's just they regulate it. And an interesting fact that I didn't mention before, the koalas of North Australia and the koalas of the southern part of Australia actually are slightly different in their fur composure and the fluff in their ears, obviously because the southern part of Australia is the part that experiences more of a quote winter temperature, where Queensland stays in the tropics. So a cuddle is very similar into a pat in the fact that you will go to a place that has this. You can do it up in Daintree. You can do it out on the Whitsundays. You can do it in Adelaide. You can do it on Kangaroo Island. Again, it's supervised where they, I can't remember if we do it on Kangaroo, but anyway. So Kangaroo Island actually is better for the third way we're going to talk about. But anyway, they're going to place the koala in your thing. They're going to have you put your hands kind of like this. Of course, they're going to be down here. They're going to set the koala, the claws will be up here. The koalas already know which way to turn for the camera. You'll have your short experience. You'll get your photograph. And again, I just love the absolute smell of them. It's almost like smelling a baby. If you like that smell, you know, that it's just the eucalyptus on them for me. And then probably one of the best experiences too is to experience the koala in the wild. So I go back, Kangaroo Island is excellent for that. Places in Victoria, the Echidna Walkabout tours. Janine Duffy is the woman there who's done all that research. That's an excellent place to experience the koalas in the wild. And now you are actually going out, you're looking for the koalas high up in the tree. And I know with her tours in Victoria that, you know, she's got names for them. I've been following Clancy. That's how I got involved with his fundraiser as well, his mom Pat. So they all have names, and it's really great to go out and experience that. There's also koala conservation areas where you'll be able to see the koalas up in the tree. And of course, Kangaroo Island, one of the things I did with my son is that we did have a morning of can we spot that koala? And it's amazing how high they are and how difficult it can be to spot. But we were quite lucky that day. But we did also see one. I found one on the ground that we were driving and I had them stop, and there was a koala on the ground. So like I said, that's not always a good thing if the koala is down on the ground. But those are just 3 incredible ways. I think I'd go into a little more detail, like I said, in my blog. But if you want any more information on the koala or ways to experience the koala, where different options are available, what you're considering, again, it's similar to like everything we've said before. You can be immersive in one state. So again, at that point, it's a matter of whether you're looking what type you're experiencing, because there are only the 2 states that do the cuddle. But a koala experience certainly could be incorporated into any of the other passions. So if you're a wildlife lover and a wine drinker and a culture lover, you know, there's just so many things we can do, and we can bounce you back and forth between the states, or we can keep you immersive. Again, recommended time is a minimum of 2 weeks to go to Australia. But that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this little story about the koala. And if you have any other questions, please just drop them in the comments below. Happy to have you private message me, or always you can reach out at lisa@boomerangescapes.com. So that's it for today. This is Lisa Rossmeissl, owner of Boomerang Escapes, your Australia travel expert. Take care and bye for now.